It's time to set up some ads. I'm going to be showing you exactly how we set up our Facebook ad campaigns to be profitable so we can consistently put $1 in and get $5 out. And so by the end of this video, you are going to be able to set up the exact same ad campaign structure. We do creatives, copy, everything. And if you follow this video and you go step by step as I'm going through it, you're going to have the exact same ad campaign we use to be profitable and scale our agency. So let's get right into it. But firstly, I'm going to explain briefly how we set up the ad structure, right? And so how much you put into each campaign is going to depend on your budget, right? But I'm going to assume you're starting out. And let's say you have maybe 50 to 100 bucks a day to put into the ads. So that's a good starting spot. And so the typical structure we're going to be starting with and how we structure our ads is you're going to have the campaign, right? It's going to be a leads campaign. You're going to have your whole campaign. And then inside of it, you're going to have your ad sets. And the ad sets are where you do specific targeting. If you target male, female, certain countries, all that type of stuff. And then inside of each ad set, you have your ad, the actual thing that people are going to see, the creative, the copy, the headline that people are going to see when they're scrolling on Facebook and Instagram. And so where do we send these people, right? Because there's a couple of main things I want to cover before we get into these campaigns, because there's two main spots that we're going to be sending our leads to, right? And so there's either a web form or a lead form, and where you're sending them is going to depend on your budget, but I do want to cover both just in case. And so for most of you, if you're starting an ad campaign and you're spending under 150 bucks a day, you're going to be sending them all to a lead form, right? Because you want to think about it like it's a pipe, okay? You're sending your leads through this pipe. At the start of the pipe is the ad itself where they're clicking on it, and at the end of the ad is where they're booking a call. And so the more friction you have throughout this pipe, meaning the more holes, let's say, in the pipe that people can flow out of, the less people you're going to have get through to the end of the pipe, right? And those holes are being extra steps inside of the ad. For example, clicking an extra button, filling out an extra question. Every single extra step or point of friction you have throughout your campaign is going to lead to less people going all the way through, but more qualified people, right? And so at the beginning, you want to have as little friction as possible. You just want to open the floodgates and have as many people go through your ad as possible, and then start to implement those filters. And so most likely going to want to run a very simple Facebook lead form ad and generate as many leads as possible directly through Facebook, and then send them to a funnel where they can book a call. And so the reason I wanted to mention this is because for us right now, we run it to a web form. And what a web form actually looks like is it looks like this. And so instead of collecting their name, email, phone number like you usually would inside of Facebook, we just send them directly to a page like this where we collect their information here. And we ask them if they're in our specific niche. And the reason you do this is because you get much more qualified leads. Because when somebody's inside of Facebook and they fill out a lead form, which I'll show you what a lead form here in a second is as well, is you're going to have a lot of people that just autofill where Facebook fills the form out for them automatically. They're not going to remember filling it out. They're going to be unqualified. You're going to have people outside of your niche. You're going to have a lot of unqualified leads coming through. But when you don't have a ton of budget, that's fine. You just want to have leads coming through. And so I'll show you what a lead form looks like as well if you're not familiar already, but that's going to be what we're going to be going over in this video. I'm not going to talk about running web form ads in this video because you can do more than enough with just lead form ads. And if you want me to make a video on the specific web form ads, let me know and I will. But I'm assuming most of you are going to be under like the $100, $150 a day ad spend mark. So lead form is going to be more than enough for you. So we can head over to our Facebook ads manager and start setting up this campaign. So we come inside of here and you're going to see this, right? This is your main dashboard and where you'll see all your campaigns that you've run, your active ones as well, and everything like that. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to come here, we're going to click create. And then you are going to click lead campaign. It's going to be a lead campaign because we want to generate leads. You're going to click continue. You're going to click manual leads campaign. Never do the things Facebook recommends because they're a company that makes money and they're going to recommend you to do the things that will get you to spend more money. So manual leads campaign. And now you can see we have our main campaign up here, one ad set, and then one ad all inside of each other. And so first things first, on this page here, you don't need to touch anything. You can keep it exactly as is, but we're just going to name it something that we can easily keep track of, right? Because if it's your only campaign, you're going to know what it is, but you're going to want to have a good naming convention so you can keep track of everything. So I'm going to call this leads. I like to name it based on the campaign goal, where we're targeting. So for me, it's going to be US and Canada, and then the offer that we're actually advertising. So I'm going to assume that this is a roofing agency that I'm running this campaign for. So let's say I'm an agency owner. I work with roofing companies and I get them like 20 estimates per month or something. That's going to be my main offer, 20 estimates. So that's what I'm going to name the campaign here. And then we can go into the actual ad set level. Now, inside of the ad set level, you can see we have all these different options, right, for where we can get the conversion. And so we're just going to pick instant forms. And so instant forms is the lead forms inside of Facebook. And now you're going to want to make sure you have your Facebook page connected. And so of course, make sure you have your Facebook page connected. I'm running it from our Inside AI Facebook page. And then you're going to want to make sure this is maximized number of conversion leads. And then I like to, in the initial stages, turn on dynamic creative. So what dynamic creative does is it allows you to run multiple creatives inside of one ad, and then multiple headlines, multiple copy, everything like that. And Facebook will mix and match them to see what performs the best. That way you can test multiple ad creatives inside of one ad, and you don't need to worry too much about it. And so let's say we have $100 that we're going to spend. So I'm going to do, let's say, $25 per day, and we'll do eventually 4 ad sets, so it'll be $100 a day. And then you can leave this to launch whenever. You'll see a lot of people say launch at midnight, 1 a.m., etc. It really doesn't make a difference. Facebook's algorithm is so powerful that it doesn't matter when you launch it. And now, where are we targeting? As you can see, this is what it's going to look like for you. You always want to go to switch to original audience options, then click use original audience, and we can scroll back down here. Now you can see all the different targetings we have here, right? You have custom audiences, which we won't need to worry about here, where we're targeting. So this is location. So for our ads, and most of you, it's probably going to be United States, and I'm also going to target Canada. So there we go, United States and Canada. You can see we have an audience of 175 million, so it's more than enough. And then the age for this, I'm going to, because I'm targeting roofing companies. I doubt there's going to be any roofing company owners that are under 25. So I'm going to go 25 to 65, and you can leave it as that. And then genders, because I'm targeting roofing companies, it's very rare that you're going to run into a female roofing company. If you're going after med spas, dentists, you're going to want to keep it male and female. But for this, I'm going to go men, detailed targeting. This is where you can target interests, specific interests. And so I'm going to leave this one as open targeting. What open targeting means is no specific interests. You're just letting Facebook take control and do its thing. We will add interest in other ad sets, but for now, we'll leave this one as open. We'll leave this on advantage detailed targeting. We'll leave that on. And then placements, you can leave this as advantage placements. This means Facebook will choose where it's placed, meaning the feed page, the stories, explore, all that type of stuff on Facebook and Instagram. Now we have this page good to go. So let's go ahead to the top here, and let's change this to be a good naming convention that we can keep track of. And so we're going to call this open because this is going to be an open ad, and then the other ad sets will switch open to be the targeting that we're doing there. US and Canada, 25 to 65 plus. Very easy for us to keep track of everything that way. And now we can come to the ad level. This is where we're actually going to be setting up the ad itself, the copy, everything like that. And so as you can see here, this is our lead form as it's already showing inside of here. But we're going to make a new lead form from scratch and show you how to do that. What we're going to see here is you can see your Instagram account. So make sure your Instagram account is connected. Make sure that's all set up and taken care of. And this one, we typically run these from Nick, my business partner's account, but just make sure it's your Facebook page or your Instagram page that's connected to your Facebook. Now we can come down here, leave this as is, multi-advertiser ads is fine. And now this is where we add in the images, the primary text, the headlines, everything like that, the description, display link, call to action, and then the lead form itself. And so you can see it's a lot of stuff here. It might be overwhelmed if this is the first ad campaign you've ever run, but don't worry, we're going to set all this up. Now, first things first is I'm going to show you how to create a creative and how we create our creative. So let's head on over to ChatGPT. And there's a couple ways we can do this. So I'm going to show you how we create our video ad creatives and show you how we go about that. And so we use ChatGPT and Google VO3 or Google Flow. And so I'm going to write into ChatGPT here. I want to create a video ad creative inside of Google Flow. I need you to create the entire prompt in the most efficient way for me to get the exact ad that I want. I want the ad to have a cartoon like man on a roof, walking, roofing, tools on the roof as well, like a ladder, and I want the man to say, "We will get you 20 roofing estimates per month, guaranteed, or you don't pay. Click learn more to book a call so we can show you how." This is essentially exactly how we build our scripts and build our ad creatives. There's going to be a little tweaking probably necessary for this ad. This is a very, very vague basic prompt here, but we'll see what ChatGPT cooks up for us here. Okay, I'm going to need it to go much more in depth. The prompt. Okay, here we go. It's going a bit more in depth here. Now we're going to open Google Flow. So here we are, Google Flow. We'll go create with Flow, started. And so you can see some of our other ones we've done there. And I'll also show you those so you can see. But we'll do new project. And we'll paste the prompt inside of here. And we will let it do its thing. And so it's going to take a minute or two to generate the creatives, but we'll see what it spits out here in a sec. All right, so here we go. We got our ad creatives. These actually look pretty damn solid. So let's play this here and see how it's sounding.
Roofing companies, we will get you 50 estimates per month guaranteed, or you don't pay. Click Learn More to see how.
That's pretty solid. So this is a creative I would exactly use. It's pretty similar to the ones we're running now. And so go ahead and download this. I'll skip past this because it's going to take a couple minutes to download, and then we can create some ad copy. All right. So the creative is downloaded. And so we can go ahead and we can add it into the campaign here. So select videos. I'm only going to add the one creative in here, but most likely what you're going to want to do is create multiple different variations of that. And so you can see there's two different variations that created with Google Flow right there. You might want to create a couple different variations of that just to see what performs, maybe like a purple version or a blue version. That's what we would do with these ads because these ads did very well for us. So tested a couple different variations and add them into here. I'm just going to add the one just to keep it simple. But as you can see right here, we have a bunch of different variations, right? Tons of different ones that we've tested out. And so I'm just going to go ahead, find the video that we just downloaded. We can go ahead, upload this here. I'll throw in a couple of these different variations just so we have them there, but these aren't creative specific to roofing, but I'll just throw them in there so you can see the different variations and just so you can see multiple creatives. Okay, there we go. So we have 4 creatives in there right now. And there we go. We can see them right there. And now let's create the ad copy. So we're going to come on over to our GPT here. And so we have a GPT that you can see here is called our Ad Copy Pro. And we have built this by feeding it tons of different ad copy that we have used that's done very, very well. And so it will write up your ad copy for you. And all I need to say is, can you write me ad copy? So it just asks for the niche. And so I'll say roofers. Now it's going to write up the ad copy pretty quickly, and we'll be able to add this directly into the campaign. Here we go. It gives us 3 variations. So we can go ahead, copy this. Here we go. And so you can see it gives a pretty long version to start here. Gives another one here with some emojis and whatnot. And there are 3 different variations that you can test out. And so I'm going to go over here, paste this into the primary text. And so there we go. I'll grab the other ones because I want to test out all 3 of these and see which one performs best. So we can paste these into here, add text option, paste it into there. I'll come back over here and let's copy the follow. All right, perfect. Add one more text option. Perfect. And then for the headlines here, so you can see now we got to add headlines. Now I'm literally just going to say, write me 3 headlines too. And let's see, turn roofing leads. There we go. I like that one. I'm also going to add one here that just says roofing jobs guaranteed. We'll just leave those 2 for now. And then we'll come down here, description. You don't need to add description. Display link. You don't need a display link. Now, call to action. You are always going to make it learn more. Always, always, always learn more. There we go. Now, the last thing that we're going to set up is the lead form. And so we're going to click create form. And here we go. I'm going to call this one test form for YouTube, but you're going to name it whatever you want to name. And then you're always just going to leave this as more volume and optimized. Then we can go next. Intro. Now we're going to need to add the headline and the description. And so for this, we're just going to turn the greeting off. We don't need a greeting. We're just going to have this here directly. So no greeting, doesn't need it. Background image, you can turn on if you'd like. And you can just upload an image here, but we're not going to do that for this one. And so you turn that off, and now it just goes straight to them filling out their name, email, phone number. So we're going to click next, and we're going to click add question. So we're going to add a question. It's going to be multiple choice, and we're simply going to ask, do you own a roofing company? That's it, because we don't want people that aren't roofing companies coming through here. And so we're going to say, yes, I own a roofing company. No, I will leave this page. Simple as that. And then we're going to come down here and we're going to say, fill out your info below. Simple as that. We're going to just put full name at the top here. We're going to make this not optional because we want to make sure we get their information. And now for this question here, we're going to turn on conditional logic. And so you might be wondering, what is conditional logic? Conditional logic makes it so that if somebody clicks no, they don't own a roofing company, they don't get to submit the lead form and they won't become a lead, because you don't want somebody who's not a roofing company to be able to fill out the lead and still go through anyway. That kind of just negates this whole process. So we're going to do this. And what this does is close form. So if they say no, they will go to close form and they won't be able to fill out the lead form. But if they click yes, then they go to submit form. And so that allows them to go to the page where they can fill out their information. And you're just going to click end page for leads. So if they click yes, they get to fill out their information, become a lead. If they click no, they're kicked out of the page here. So let's go ahead, let's click next. And so you can see this is what it looks like right here. So go ahead, we'll click next. So here, you're just going to put your privacy policy. If you don't have one, you just put your website. That's it. You're going to click your N1 lead page, and we're going to edit this here. So you're going to click, this is N1 lead page. And now we're going to change this headline. We don't want it to just say, thanks, you're all set. That's too boring. So we're going to say, learn below. And then we're going to write a brief description here just to tell them what to do. Okay, there we go. So if you are a business owner, off the tools, you'll be able to select the time to speak to us directly, and we can mutually see if we are a good fit to work with each other. You want to give them the next step, and then you're going to put the link to your booking page or your funnel here. So you're going to come grab your booking page. This is ours right here. You're going to come grab this, and you're going to paste it right there in the link. Simple as that. And then the call to action, because we said click learn more, so we're going to say learn more. Simple as that. And then the end page, you can just leave this as is. And then here, we usually just put our main website. We just send them to our main website. So we'll do that right here. And there we go. Just says you're not the best fit. Simple as that. You don't need to elaborate much more on that. And then you can create the form. And there we go. We created our lead form. So it's simple as that. And now anytime somebody clicks on the ad, this form will pop up. They will get to answer this question. And then they will fill out their information. Then they will go to this page if they're a lead, and then the funnel to book a call. And if they're not a lead, they will get sent to here. And so simple as that. Now let's go to the top here. And let's name this ad so we know. And then I usually like to name it DCO because it's dynamic creative optimization, which means the multiple creatives, multiple copy, etc. And then I'll just put one there. And now, so like I mentioned about the targeting, right? So we have all this set up now. This is technically, we could launch this, but we wanted to test out different targeting, right? And so right now, this one is set to open, right? We're just targeting open. There's no specific targeting, and we want to test out others. So what we're going to do now that everything's in place, we're going to click this. We're going to click duplicate. We're going to duplicate the whole ad set so that you don't need to change anything. We have our copied ad set here, but this one we're going to target roofing specifically. So we'll change this roofing. We'll get rid of that copy there. So now we know this one's roofing and this other one's open target. So we'll come down here. Everything else we can leave the exact same. It's just we are going to be targeting. We'll see what interests are best. We'll do roofing contractor interest because you always want to do interest targeting. You never want to do, like you can see there's, let me see if I search roofing, you'll see there's employees, job titles, behaviors. You only ever really want to do the interests or the interest specifically, which you can see we already took here. And so the interest is the best one. Now we're also going to duplicate it again so we can target another one. So let's duplicate this here, and we'll pick another interest that looks good, that could potentially get good quality leads for our roofing ads. So let's take a look. Let's see together what one would be good here. What interest? Let's see, potentially like contractors, interest. Okay, let's see what else shows up for. So we have real estate, hotels, roofing, roofers. Okay, let's do roofing construction. Do this one, domestic roofing construction. We'll test that one out. Roofing construction. We'll see how that one does. It's all worth testing. And then we will find one more. And we might even try one that's a little outside the scope of roofing itself, like renovation or something like that, just to maybe home service. Yeah, let's do home service. All right, so those are our 4 interests. And now we have an entire ad campaign set up here. So home service, now we can click copy. Boom, it's all set. Simple as that. So the campaign is good. So come up here, click the campaign section and click publish. So we will publish this campaign here. There we go. We'll give it a second to publish. All right, campaign is published. Congrats, you launched the campaign. Now, don't think we're done though, because yeah, sure, now a campaign's launched. We're going to generate leads, but where are we going to send those leads? We need to make sure we're sending those leads to the right spot. So first thing, we're going to come over to Go High Level, right? First things first is we need to go to settings. We need to go to integrations. We need to go to Facebook form field mapping because we just created a lead form, right? And so we need to make sure those fields are mapped. So here's our test form from YouTube. You can see our Facebook form. So you're going to click map fields. This you can leave, but we want to make sure we have full name, email, and phone number mapped. Confirm. There we go. Successfully mapped. Now it's mapped and it's good to go. Now, don't think we're done yet because now we collect that information. The form is connected, but where are we sending those leads? So let's come into an automation here. We're going to go into new lead automation. And if you don't have an automation or anything, just create one, add reminders and everything in there. And you'll see the trigger will be Facebook lead form. And so you can see it's set to any. So that's all you're going to do. So you're going to come in here. You're going to add a trigger if you don't already have one. Facebook lead form submitted. And you're going to select pages, any, and form is any. Now, anytime that lead form is submitted, will get added to this workflow where it will get added to a pipeline. You'll get notified. They'll get text, emails, everything, reminders, and you will nurture them to book them in. And so that's the whole campaign. Simple as that. And so it really is that simple. And now that you go through the whole process here, you have your campaign set up, ready to launch, and it's simple as that. And so there is other things to campaigns to optimize it, right? You want to make sure you're hitting the right metrics. You want to make sure you're getting good amount of appointments, good quality leads. And there's a lot of things you can do to optimize it, but that is just the bare bones setup of exactly how we launched the initial campaign. And look, if you want us to help you build your entire ad campaign, launch everything, the entire ad setup, the creatives, the copy, the testing, the refinement, the scaling, everything, click the link below, book a call. And if you're a good fit, we will help you scale and we'll build your agency with you. We'll work alongside you and we'll help build not just the ads, but everything else. You'll get this entire snapshot. You'll get all the sequences that we use inside of here, and we will scale your agency. And look, if you also want to use our copy GPT here, I'll put the link for that down below, and you can take a look and it can write your ad copy for you. And so I hope this provided a ton of value on the ad campaign side of things, and I'll see you in the next one.